Number 10, the micro sleep trap. You suddenly zone out for a few seconds while driving, reading, or talking to someone. Your eyes stay open. You keep moving, but your brain completely shuts down for a split second. You probably think you just got distracted or spaced out for a moment. But science suggests this is a real phenomenon called microsleep, where your brain briefly enters sleep mode even though your body is still awake and functioning. Studies from the University of Michigan using EEG brain monitoring showed that tired people experience dozens of microsleep episodes per hour. During these moments, the brain's attention networks completely go offline, while the eyes remain open and the hands continue basic movements. This is why exhausted drivers can travel miles with no memory of the journey. This is why surgeons, pilots, and truck drivers make dangerous errors without realizing what happened. Researchers have recorded microsleeps lasting up to 30 seconds while people were actively performing complex tasks. The brain essentially presses the sleep button for a few moments and then snaps back online as if nothing happened. The weirdest part is that you can have a full conversation, keep driving, or continue typing during a microsleep and still appear completely normal to everyone around you. Your brain is literally running on autopilot while large parts of it are asleep. Number 9, the hypnagogic hallucination trap. You are lying in bed, extremely tired, and suddenly see shadowy figures, hear voices calling your name, or feel someone touching you even though you are alone in the room. You probably think you are starting to dream, or that your mind is playing tricks on you. But science suggests these vivid hallucinations are a normal but extremely weird brain behavior that happens when you are severely sleep deprived. Research from the Sleep Research Society shows that when the brain is exhausted, the boundary between wakefulness and sleep breaks down. The visual and auditory cortex start firing as if you are already dreaming while your eyes are still open. People report seeing spiders crawling on the ceiling, hearing footsteps in an empty house, or feeling bugs on their skin. These hallucinations can be so realistic that people jump out of bed in panic or scream. The terrifying part is that your tired brain can create completely convincing sensory experiences that feel 100% real, even though you are still technically awake. This happens because the brain starts leaking dreamlike activity into the waking state. Number 8, the emotional swing trap. You laugh uncontrollably at something that is not funny at all. Or you suddenly feel like crying over something tiny like a spilled drink or a minor inconvenience. You probably think you are just being overly sensitive because you are tired. But science suggests extreme tiredness causes wild swings in emotional regulation. fMRI studies from Stanford University revealed that sleep deprivation dramatically reduces activity in the prefrontal cortex, the brain's emotional brake pedal, while massively increasing activity in the amygdala, the brain's emotional accelerator. This imbalance turns normal minor frustrations into full-blown rage episodes and small positive things into uncontrollable laughter or tears. The terrifying part is that your tired brain loses the ability to control its own emotions, turning you into a version of yourself you barely recognize. Friends and family often notice these sudden mood swings long before you do. Number 7, the risky decision trap. You make impulsive choices you would never make when well-rested, sending angry texts, buying expensive things you cannot afford, or taking dangerous shortcuts while driving. You probably think you are just in a bad mood or feeling reckless. But science suggests severe tiredness dramatically impairs the brain's risk assessment system. A study published in the Journal of Neuroscience showed that after 24 hours without sleep, people's decision-making centers behave similarly to someone who is legally drunk. The prefrontal cortex, which weighs consequences and long-term outcomes, basically goes offline. Meanwhile, the reward centers become hyperactive and push you toward immediate gratification. This is why tired people gamble more, text while driving, and make terrible life choices they later regret. The terrifying part is that your brain, when tired, literally cannot tell the difference between a smart decision and a reckless one. Number 6, the false memory trap. You are 100% convinced you already did something. Sent that email, took your medicine, locked the door, or had a conversation. But when you check, you never actually did it. You probably think your memory is just foggy from exhaustion. But science suggests extreme tiredness causes the brain to create false memories at a much higher rate. Research from the University of California, Irvine found that sleep-deprived people are far more likely to confidently remember tasks they never performed, especially when asked leading questions. The hippocampus, which normally sorts real memories, becomes sloppy and starts filling in gaps with invented details. You end up arguing with yourself or others because your brain swears the event happened exactly as you remember it. The terrifying part is that your tired brain can confidently tell you lies and make you believe them completely. Number 5. The automatic pilot trap. You drive home from work, you unlock your front door, you brush your teeth, you cook dinner. You suddenly realize you have almost no memory of doing any of it. You probably think you were just on autopilot, but science suggests this is a real brain state called dissociative automaticity that kicks in when you are extremely tired. EEG studies from the University of California, San Diego show that after prolonged wakefulness, large portions of the brain can go into a low power mode while the body continues performing routine tasks. You are technically awake, but your conscious awareness is almost completely offline. This is why exhausted people can cook entire meals, send coherent text messages, hold conversations, or even drive long distances with almost zero recollection afterward. The brain switches to a background maintenance mode to keep basic functions running while higher thinking takes a break. The terrifying part is that your brain can run large parts of your life on autopilot while the you part of your mind is basically asleep, and you have no idea it happened until later. Number 4, the time distortion trap. Hours feel like minutes. You look at the clock and have no idea how so much or so little time has passed. You probably think you were just bad at estimating time when you were tired, but science suggests severe sleep deprivation actually warps your brain's internal clock. Research published in the journal Sleep shows that tired brains have disrupted activity in the suprachiasmatic nucleus and prefrontal time perception areas. This causes massive errors in time judgment, sometimes making 10 minutes feel like an hour, other times making 3 hours disappear in what feels like 20 minutes. And the terrifying part is that your tired brain can no longer accurately track the passage of time, which leads to missed deadlines, forgotten appointments, and a constant feeling that reality is slipping away from you. Number 3. The intense craving trap. You suddenly want sugar, junk food, or caffeine with an almost uncontrollable urge, even though you are not actually hungry. You probably think you just have the munchies, but science suggests extreme tiredness hijacks your brain's reward system. Studies from the University of Chicago found that sleep deprivation increases activity in the nucleus accumbens, the brain's pleasure center, while decreasing activity in the areas that control impulse and satiety. This makes the brain crave quick dopamine hits from sugar and carbs the same way it craves them during addiction. The terrifying part is that your exhausted brain is literally pushing you toward decisions that make you even more tired and less healthy the next day, creating a vicious cycle. Number 2, the paranoia and suspicion trap. You start reading hidden meanings into innocent texts. You become convinced your friends are talking about you behind your back. You feel like everyone is judging you even though nothing has changed. You probably think you are just overthinking because you are tired. But science suggests sleep deprivation dramatically increases activity in the brain's threat detection circuits. fMRI research from the University of California, Berkeley showed that after one night of poor sleep, the amygdala becomes hyper-reactive to neutral facial expressions, interpreting them as angry or hostile. This leads to increased paranoia, social withdrawal, and unfounded suspicion. The terrifying part is that your tired brain turns neutral situations into threatening ones without any real evidence, making normal interactions feel dangerous. Number 1, the total cognitive shutdown trap. You stare at a simple question and your mind goes completely blank. You cannot form a single coherent thought. You forget basic words or what you were just saying mid-sentence. You probably think you are just out of it. But science suggests this is the brain's emergency power-saving mode. When severely tired, the brain reduces activity across almost all higher cognitive networks to conserve energy. Working memory collapses. Logical reasoning slows to a crawl. Even simple decisions become extremely difficult. And studies using EEG and cognitive testing show that after 24 to 36 hours without sleep, brain performance drops to levels similar to someone with a blood alcohol concentration of 0.10, legally drunk. The terrifying part is that your brain can reach a state where it is physically unable to think clearly, yet you still believe you are functioning normally. These are some of the weirdest and most unsettling things your brain does when you're tired. It doesn't just slow down, it starts behaving in completely bizarre, unpredictable, and sometimes dangerous ways. From microsleeps and hallucinations to emotional explosions, false memories, time distortion, intense cravings, paranoia, and total cognitive shutdown, your exhausted brain becomes a very strange version of you. The scariest part? Most of these behaviors happen without you even realizing anything is wrong. So the next time you feel exhausted, remember these weird brain tricks and give your mind the rest it desperately needs before it starts doing things you cannot control. Thanks for watching, and subscribe to see more.